What up, everybody? Welcome to the Xcast. Right about now, we want to welcome you to the greatest podcast on earth, hosted by yours truly, the XSP.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to a new edition of the Xcast with XSP. So before we get into this episode, there's a lot of things going on, a lot of music put out. Just released a Shot of Demon with Play-Doh, The World Destroyer, and Sick Disciple. Me and Sick Disciple, also known as NLM. And you can find that on Spotify. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Amazon Music, on iTunes, anywhere. Cuff up that 99 cents. Hook it up. Put it in your ear. Anyway, we got that going. We got Extremist Splattered is the name of the song. And that's kind of the Halloween song for this year. I'm not really doing like theme songs. That's probably the last thing I'll put out as far as singles this year, because I think I put out like 4 or 5. And there's a new mixtape with me and John Triumph out of Houston, and that's called Unbreakables. And you can find that on Audio Mac. You can find that on Dat Piff. You can find that on initiumrecords.bandcamp.com. And you can find it on SoundCloud. You can find it on YouTube as well, on my channel. And just go out, man. Support the music. I do all different kinds. There's Christian music. There's rock music. There's soulful music. There's hip hop. There's all kinds of stuff. So you might find something that you like if you are listening to the XSP. Yeah. All right, so check it out. Now that that's out of the way. Oh, also, before I forget, if you like life-changing podcasts and great stories from all over, you can check out Project Restore with my brother on Spotify. Project Restore with Jason Garcia. It's one that I frequent all the time, not just because he's my brother, but because he does a good job and he has great guests on that have life-changing stories. So there's that. So I want to get to this interview. It was actually the tables have turned, and somebody was interviewing me for this one. So a lot of different things were said, where I came up from. If you want some insight on the XSP, this is the interview for you. And also, just to expand on the story that I told about who got me into hip hop. You know, my brother did a lot of it, but at the same time, we have an uncle by the name of Chemby, and he passed away last year, unfortunately. But he used to go dumpster diving in apartments and different places, see what he could find. He found a lot of different things as far as clothes that weren't even used, and TVs and all different kinds of stuff. They would bring stuff over every weekend, and he brought over one weekend NWA and the Posse and tapes. And so that's kind of what started that whole hip hop thing, and had songs like 8 Ball and Gangsta Gangsta, different stuff like that. So that's what sparked some of that interest early on. So, but without further ado, here's my interview with Todd Engel, otherwise known as the White Brother with Muzik N Ya Mouf. So he was great enough to give me the video content so that we could put it up right here on the Xcast with XSP. So here's a little bit. Maybe you've heard it, maybe you haven't heard it, but here's an interview with myself, and check it out, y'all.
Hello, everybody. This is the White Brother. Welcome to Insanely Get Your Radio. This is Muzik N Ya Mouf. And in the house with me right now that I'm interviewing right now is an artist. He calls himself, what, XSP?
XSP, Extreme Street Preacher. Yes, sir. San Marcos in the house.
Okay. You from San Marcos. Okay. I didn't even know that, I think. Okay. So, and I didn't even know what XSP stood for until you just said it. So,
Yeah.
say cool. So why go by the name XSP? Why that name?
Honestly, that wasn't even a name that I gave myself. Um, I used to be a very loud, obnoxious person, and I used to hate people, and until I had an encounter with Jesus Christ. And so
Okay.
part of that conversion was telling people about how my life had been changed. And because I had a very explosive personality back then, it just kind of rolled over into what I was about then. So when I would get on a microphone, on a bullhorn, and I start to preach Jesus, it just came out very, very strongly. And people started calling me Extreme Street Preacher because we would do
Huh.
stuff like that on the street. So I was like, hey, that sounds like a cool rap name. And back then, I didn't even rap yet. So
Okay.
eventually, when I started to rap, like for real, that's when I say, hey, why not call myself the XSP? That's kind of where that comes from.
Okay. But even though you said all that, what you just said, you don't consider yourself a Christian rapper, do you?
Man, I'm not like one of those people like that says, well, I'm a Christian who raps, or I'm a Christian in my life. So when I rap, obviously I do Christian lyrics, but because of where I come from, there's a little bit more of an edginess to it, and I'm
Right.
trying to reach people who are in that edgy lifestyle as well. So I'm not one of those guys who's like, well, I'm not a Christian rapper, but I am a Christian who raps. I don't fall into that category. Yes,
Okay.
I'm a Christian rapper. To answer it simpler, but I do have an edge to me that most guys in the Christian rap world don't have.
You know, especially with the title of the song, the Demon Song. What's the title of that?
I shot a demon.
Okay. Again, now
Yeah,
when I first heard it, I kind of laughed at it because that's you, and isn't Clado on there also?
yeah, Clado, the World Destroyer, and Sick
Okay.
Disciple.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I heard that song, and that song we're playing right now here on the Santa Get the Radio. So what I'm gonna do is after the interview, I'm gonna go ahead and play it for people that haven't heard it yet and
No doubt.
everything. So yeah, I'll be playing both your songs you submitted and everything. Of course, you're always welcome to submit more as you get done with more songs and
Yes, sir.
everything. So yeah, 'cause
Definitely appreciate you even just playing it, man. Because sometimes it's hard to find a medium that will play that kind of music. We kind of, I don't want to say straddle the fence, but we definitely have an edgy, more in your face message.
right.
So I appreciate it a lot.
So where do you record the music at? Do you do it at your house or do you
I've
go
got a
to the
home
studio? Or,
studio. We've
okay.
got a good little setup. Studio One got some nice interface, nice mic. There it's always been the thought that you have to go to a big studio for it to sound good, and that's not always the case. There's if you know
Right.
how to work your programs, you can get it sound as professional as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
I did tell you before the interview, I'll be honest with everybody out there that in case they hear your song on It's Gonna Get the Radio and they want to critique it also, I did tell you that I feel like the mix could have been a little bit better on the song, the Demon song. The other song was perfect. The other song I thought was great. But the Demon song, I felt like you had the vocals up a little bit too loud for you and Clado. And I feel like the music could be brought up just a little bit because the vocals is kind of, I know you want everybody to hear the lyrics and everything, and I understand that, but it seemed like it was kind of, I had a hard time hearing the beat. I was hearing more lyrics than the
Yeah.
beat,
Yeah. Well, the beat is definitely one that I'll pick it up and I'll send you a different version. It was one that I was trying to get out as quick as I could, so I might not have
I hear
paid
you.
took as much time as I needed to. But for sure, man. I mean, the lyrics are definitely the first and foremost as far as at least what I do is that the message is needs to be up front.
Right.
Now, obviously, the other mixes we're taking a little bit more time on, but that's one thing that I'm not a mumble rapper. I don't I don't like that hubba. I'm only saying a couple things. I really want people to pay attention to the lyrics.
And that's what I like about it. That's what I like about it also, because you and there's some other artists out there too that y'all are not following the trend that everybody's going right now. Everybody's trying to do the mumble rap, auto tune type stuff, and I appreciate all the artists that are not doing it because I'm like that's the real rap. I think the ones that I think got to resort to the auto tune and all this stuff. I feel like okay, they're the ones that either they don't know how to sing or they just don't have enough creativity to figure out what to do with a song. So they feel like they got to resort to the auto tune and got to resort to all the type of mumble rapping that's out there right now. A lot of that
Yeah.
mainstream stuff, I'm like, I don't get. I'm sorry, I don't get. I mean, I will play because I'm a DJ and I got to play what everybody wants to hear. But I'm like, okay, but some of the music is trash, and so some of this independent stuff I'm getting like from you and other artists here on the San Diego Radio. I commend all of y'all because I think all of y'all are doing excellent in coming up with y'all songs and everything, and everybody's getting better as time goes by. So hopefully the auto tune fad will phase out.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. I mean, you could say that you know, whenever you do a trend, it dates it to that time period.
Right.
And I don't want to be someone who's left in this certain time period. I want to be able to say that my music is timeless. So you can pick it up 20 years from now, 30 years from now, and go, oh man, that's still the jam right there. So even though, like I said, I push a certain message, but at the same time, musically, I want to be as creative and as against the grain as possible. And that's all. That kind of makes it hard for us to get in certain stations or playlists, if you will. But
Right.
it's definitely, I'd rather be an artist than to be just like everybody else.
I hear you. Just so everybody can, just so I can, not to backtrack or nothing, but just tell everybody this is that, and I don't totally hate on auto tune though, even though it might sound like it. I just feel like it needs to be used appropriately. I feel like an auto tune is more of an effect to where I think could be used maybe on a hook, but not through the whole damn song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
I
but that's
agree.
why I appreciate everything you do and everything. So again, your songs are getting played here on San Diego Radio. I would like to get them on the top 20 countdown, but I need to get requests in. I don't know if you've been promoting it for requests and everything, but I haven't got any requests yet. But I'd love to get it on the top 20 countdown if I get requests. You know.
Most definitely, man. Well, send me a link, man. I'm not really sure how they send you requests, and that's my end. Not knowing that for not reaching out so much, but yeah, man. If you send me the links or whatever it is, and I'll definitely promote you.
Okay, no problem.
Trying to promote myself as well.
I thought I sent you an email with all the information in it, but I could have. You know, sometimes I get so much stuff in, and I do some of the things I forget to send the emails out. So I'll definitely get that to you as well as far as that. So I'm being so the people listening right now. Hey, I'm human too, just like everybody else. So I can make mistakes. So I will double check that on your end because I want everybody to have the appropriate promotions on their end also. And I don't want nobody to think I'm hating by saying, "Well, damn, this song is good. How come it's on the countdown?" You know, but no, it's not like that. You know, so.
Right. You know, and as an artist, trying to get into as many outlets as possible, some things slip your mind, or you have working with multiple people, sending tracks and different things. Sometimes emails,
Right.
you slip on some of them. You know, so you're trying to put one over the other.
Right. Well, the demon track, the demon song, I heard actually when Clado posted it and everything when he was promoting it for you, helping you, and that's how I heard it. And I was like, well, hey, I'm like, well, give him to Simi, and you know, and so I think he reached out to you about me and everything, and so I appreciate.
Yeah, definitely, man. Clado is a good dude. Funny story about Clado. I didn't realize he was a rapper when I first met him. He came to me at a show. We were both on. I didn't realize he was on it as well. Like I said, I thought he was just a fan coming to get a CD. And then later on, you know, he hits the stage and he starts doing this very much freedom of speech type rap. And he's definitely his namesake is he's Clado. He can mold and shape himself in any song. And eventually we became pretty good friends, and we have a lot of things in common, and we're along the same lines of trying to get a certain message out, and we just became, like I said, good friends, and we decided to work on some tracks together. He's on a couple of other things that I'm working on as well, and just a real good dude.
Yeah, me and him has even done a track together. So in fact, I'm even on one of his songs on his latest album. So yeah, so I'm playing that here on Insane Gifted Radio also. But a little bit more back to you, not get off of Insane Gifted Radio and everything. A little more about you. How long have you been doing the music?
Man, I've been in and out of music, really consistently in music since I was like 15 years old.
Okay.
I originally had a thrash metal band. When I started playing guitar, I started playing guitar when I was 12, and at 13 or 15, I had a band. It was more like Slayer or Metallica maybe. And and then I was doing that for a while. I had long hair, black fingernails. That was a little bit before I had received Jesus, and even to go back further, messing around with rap with my brother would play NWA, Dr. Dre, the West Coast stuff. I grew up on West Coast rap.
Okay.
And learning how to kind of Bone Thugs and things like that. So that was already there. I just never really ventured toward it. But as far as music in general, since I was 15, maybe,
Okay,
or
so
actually 12, because I started playing guitar at 12.
so in some of the music you're doing right now, do you play any guitar on any of that, or?
Yeah, I have a metal project out. It's called Extremist. It's called the title of the CD is called Slaughterhouse Religion,
Okay.
and it's on Spotify. It's on YouTube. It really any major distributor, digital distributor, you can get it there. If you
Because
want
you
to get
know I do all genres of music here on the Sandy Get the Radio also. So I do the
I'll
I
send you
play,
some of those tracks
yeah.
as well. Those are for me. Those are my babies because I love rock music. You know, I love metal music. That's what that's what I when I really discovered music for myself. It was metal music. Started off with bands like Metallica and worked their way through the gamut of metal music, and those are my babies, man. If I had the live band like I used to, that's probably all that I would do. But because I don't have a live band all the time, I do rap stuff. That's really
Right.
how I started rapping, was because I had a band, um, and for whatever reason, I had a drummer go away, I had a bass player go away. So it's like, man, I got to do something because I don't want to stop doing music. So I started learning how to make beats, and that was
Mhm.
probably like around 2000. I want to say 2003, 4, 5ish, somewhere between there.
Okay.
And I started learning how to make beats, started writing lyrics, and it just took off from there. I got a Tascam 4-track recorder. That's how I recorded my first rap CD. And
Well, the question is,
it's
I started out on a Tascam 4-track recorder back in the day too. And then I
yeah,
went
yeah,
to a Tascam 8-track, and then that was before I started going to major studios. Because I'm like, you know what, I could do this, but then that's when everything went computer, and I guarantee you, going from a Tascam 8-track recorder to a computer was a big switch for me. I mean, I refused for years. I was like, no, computers suck, blah 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 blah. And in a way, they do still suck. But it's like when they work, they work. And when they don't work, you're fucked. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? That's one
So
thing. That's one thing I don't like about computers. But
yeah, I know I was the same way. There's like, man, I can do what I can make it sound good with this, and you can, but for clarity and things like that, the computer's the way to
yeah,
go. Even before that, when I was in high school and I had my band, we were doing stuff on tape recorder, just a regular, you know,
right.
Dollar General tape recorder. So however we could get out the music is I'm old school, man.
Yeah,
Whether it be
me too.
tapes with whatever, we get it out no matter what. And I remember me and my friends in high school and they were circulating around the high school, and it's like people were hearing it. So it's like if people were digging it, then you can do it more on the. It's like get a 4-track or whatever the case, and then later on it was like, we'll get a digital 4-track, and then even later get a computer, and then you have all the tools at your
Right.
at your disposal. So
Yeah, everybody knows me. I'm old school in the sense that I'm for CDs still. I mean, I don't cut for all these MP3s and downloads and Spotify stuff. I'm still for CDs. I love the artists that still get CDs pressed up, even if it's just for promotion. I feel like CDs can still be used in that way for the ones that love CDs. So I really push the artists that still get the CDs done.
yeah, I'm
Uh,
definitely one of those guys, man. I still like getting CDs pressed up. I know that everyone's like, well, you got to get on a playlist. It's like, that's hard to do too. But if I meet you at a show and you have this in your hand, you know that I met you, that
right.
we interacted with each other. It's something tangible. You can go back, even if you forgot about me and you're digging through your CDs or whatever. Oh snap! There's XSP, dude. I remember that guy. He did la la. So CDs are definitely something tangible that like a potential fan could have and go back to. And I'll never. Um, I'll never stop making CDs, man. CDs are
Right, me too. And I tell everybody as a DJ, since I've been DJing for years and helping out Texas artists for years, I would tell everybody, back in the day, around 99, 2000, when CDs were really hot and artists was really on their grind and everything, I appreciate the artists that would come up to you, like you said, with the CD. They had posters, they had a big folders of bios and everything, and then they were like hit the pavement, and they were actually promoting themselves in person. I think these days a lot of new artists, they fail to do all the in-person stuff because they feel like it's so easy to get on social media, promote yourself, and they feel like they ain't got to go nowhere and talk to nobody. But I appreciate the ones that from back then, that even did it back then, because I feel like they were the most serious, because they actually had to hit the pavement to do it. And that way, when they heard their song on the radio and heard their song on any of my countdowns or whatever, then they appreciated it more because they know they did it themselves instead of having somebody just hand it to them on a silver platter,
Yeah, it's definitely anybody can get on the computer.
Right.
It takes some real guts, some real, fortitude to get up on stage. And then after you've already sweated your whole body out, shake a hand with somebody and say, especially when you get there and there's someone's like, man, I really enjoyed you. Maybe I don't like your message, but I really enjoyed the energy that you brought. Hey, man, that works for me. At least I got in your ear for that 15 minutes or whatever I was on stage. You know what I mean? There's, guys like Insane Poetry or Scum from LSP that even though they bring a totally different type of message, they appreciate the energy that's brought on stage. And that's one of the things that even if you don't like my message, you're gonna hear me for that 15 minutes, or you're gonna hear me for that 10 minutes or whatever I have on stage. And that's part of promoting as well. You got to get out there and do something. You got to get out there and show your heart on stage.
And I'll go ahead and say, just for the ones that don't take this wrong, is that no, I'm not against all the new artists coming out, and I'm not against all the new modern ways of doing things. I just feel like if you're going to do it all. I mean, if you're going to do the most modern stuff, then do the old school way too. That way you cover all your bases. And I feel like don't just be ignorant and just do one and forget about the other. So I feel like do it across the board if you're really going to promote yourself. And that's my message to new artists and everything. Now, back to you. The other question I got for you is, I know you mentioned, the NWA and Bone Thugs and everything. So are those the artists that influence you to rap? Are those artists you listen to a lot now, or?
That's not really artists I listen to now, no.
Okay.
But when what sparked the rap, rap in me, and it really started with NWA and Bone Thugs like that. Like I said, West Coast. I was more of a West Coast guy. I know there was a big old beef between West and East Coast, and I got to tell you, I was death row, man, the whole way. And I was Ruthless Records. That was my go-to when I was younger. Right around the time I started listening to rock music, when I was growing my hair out and things, and I came across Insane Clown Posse inadvertently through my brother. He had I don't know if you remember the movie The Great White Hype. It was about a boxer.
Yes, I remember that.
So Insane Clown Posse was on that soundtrack. My brother had bought the soundtrack on tape. Like what younger brothers do, they go through their brother's music collection and whatnot. So I came across it and I heard this, and I was like, whoa, hold up. And then these guys started coming in with this rapping, but it was like, it wasn't your normal, it wasn't your normal rap. Right. You could tell these guys were white dudes. They were, they didn't have the traditional rap sound, and it was different. And it had guitars on it, and it had these crazy sound effects. And these guys had these almost like rock sounding voices, but they weren't rockers. Yeah. And then I started doing more research on who they were. Looked at the cover. And I realized it's Insane Clown Posse. And I was like, whoa, these guys sound different. I want to hear what else they have. So I really found something that resonated with me at the time. I was a real angry guy, like I said. I was very just mad at the world, mad at everybody.
Was it not to get personal, but was there a reason why you were like that? Or
yeah, man, and I don't mind it, and I'll talk about it. I had come from a broken home. My dad was an alcoholic. Okay. My mom was very, she was just a pushover. There was a lot of violence in the household. They would fight a lot. So, every day I had to come home to this fighting and this back and forth between my parents. You're stuck in the middle. I see my dad punch holes in the wall, give my mom black eyes and things like that. So I was mad at everybody. And we had gone to my mom had some religion. She would light candles and stuff, but it wasn't like what I know now. And it wasn't what she knows now. And to make a long story short, my dad gave his life to Jesus Christ. My mom did, like, for real. And not to get too much into like religion or whatever, but that's part of what I do, is because my whole life was changed by Jesus, not religion, but Jesus, the teachings of Jesus. And my whole family did too. So, I was angry at the world because, I went to to certain churches, and they were like, well, you know, God loves all, and this thing, but it was very religious. It was more like, if you do these 10 steps, then things will get better. But you do those 10 steps, and things are going to get better. No one ever talked about how sin ruined lives, or how, you know, you can be the change within other people's lives as long as you give that love of Jesus to people. So anyway, so that was part of the reason why I was really angry. And,
so when your mom and dad changed, that's when you changed also? Could you realize no?
No. So it was my mom, or really my brother, who introduced us to really the teachings of Jesus, and then my mom went along, and my dad did for a little bit, but then was kind of still caught up in his ways. And a little bit after that, I was like, you know what? I'm trying to fight a fight that I can't win, and it was more like, I need to try to put these into practice, and if I really want to see change. And from there on, I did. And so things started to change little by little to the mindset that I have now, because it took a little bit. But the more I gave into the teachings, and the more I prayed, you know, I know I'm swaying this little bit, but I want you to realize how all this whole change came about. So I started to pray, and I wanted to see. I hated people, like I said, but I wanted to see the way the Bible says God sees people, and that the way that He sees people is like they're precious jewels. And that's the way that the Bible says God sees people. So I started praying, God, let me have your eyes. Let me look through. Let me see people the way you do, because I'm tired of hating people. Like I'm really tired. I'm unhappy. Other people aren't happy. I want to feel some of this happiness that these other people are talking about. So when I started to do it, I started seeing things. Even though people have flaws, yeah, but you see the humanity, and you see that everybody's hurting. Everybody is hurting in some way. They all need some kind of comfort. And because I want to see like Jesus, I want to act like Jesus. You know what I mean? So I try to offer that patience and understanding and things like that. And so eventually, that's where we come into the music that I do now, is trying to offer that hope, trying to offer that comfort and understanding, for people who are hurting.
Yeah, and a lot of times in the music industry, a lot of times the artists that come out the best and that have the best songs are the ones that actually do the songs from personal experiences, or come up with the songs because of their personal experiences. So it's kind of, I hear that in you. I hear that when you talk about it, when you're talking about it just now, I could hear how you'd be devoted to doing some music where it'd be better for you, and maybe to educate other people and other people listening on the experiences that you had. Even if you don't talk about your experiences or rap about them, at least your attitude has changed to where you're doing something a little bit better for yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And I see that, and I like that.
I do get personal, man, on my music, because I feel like, James Hetfield from Metallica said, as long as you're putting out your emotions, somebody's going to connect with it. And I feel like that's true, whether it be, because on my album Gospel Gun, I didn't send it to you, but it's out there, Gospel Gun.
I was just going to ask you that.
I talk about my life experiences. It's a very personal record. It's one where I talk about being homeless for 6 months, living in a rat-infested shack with my mom, where I talk about, my dad being a drug dealer, and he was when I was younger, before he really got saved. And I talk about how my life had been changed from, I have a song called Submit Your Heart, where in order to see change, you got to submit your heart to these principles that I'm talking about. So, it's all personal, everything that I do. And talk about a song called Shock You, where, don't let it shock you that God can take this. Really, I was an atheist or a Satanist at one time, and make him someone who believes in the gospel and Jesus Christ. So don't let it shock you that God can do that, and He can do it with you too. And that's kind of the whole message.
Okay, so the album you're talking about, the project you're talking about, that's currently available right now for people to buy, or?
Yes, it's available on Spotify. It's available on Bandcamp. It's available on Amazon, I think. It's available on iTunes. Like I said, any major digital distributor, you can get it through them, or you can contact me. You can get CDs if you want digital. It's all out there. You just Google. Do a quick Google.
Me. I done said it. I definitely would like a CD. I definitely want to get a CD from you, and I want to check out the rest of your music other than the ones that you sent. You know,
Right.
so are the songs that we're playing right now on Insane to Get Your Radio, are those on this project that you're talking about?
No, that's the new project.
That's a new
I
one.
sent
Okay.
you brand new stuff.
Okay, cool.
So that's stuff that I haven't
Well,
even.
just from the brand new stuff, I want to hear the old stuff. I'm like, oh, because like I tell everybody, you might think it's old to you, but it's still new to people that haven't heard it. So I would love to
Yeah.
check out the old one, and I'll still pump up some songs off of there too.
No doubt. And see, and that's the thing though, when it comes to, like I said, being timeless, because it could still be new to somebody.
Yeah.
20 years later, or even, I've been in the game for a minute now, putting those albums out, and they're, probably 10, 12 years old. But once you hear them, it's like, it's nothing like you've ever heard in that time period. So
Right.
it's timeless.
Right. Definitely. Okay. So the new songs that once we're playing, when is that project going to be out? You still working on that? Do you have a release date for that, or
I don't have a release date just yet. I'm still waiting on some features to come in. And with features, other people have lives of their own, so that's hard to say. I'm looking before the end of the year. But that one's called